Hello and welcome
Christ.
to Neon Lights
Welcome.
Roleplay and to the
Hello.
Seven Sons,
Transcript.
our actual play homebrew 5e live stream.
How much
I'm
of
your-
that did you hear?
Good time.
Thankfully,
Not much.
none of it. Only the laughing at the end. Welcome to the Seven Sons. I am your host, young Foxxii. I will be your game maestro for the evening. But to your right, there are 5 lovely adventurers here to delve back into the depths of Zor'aa. So please, in the order I call you out, as I prepare the intro music, please introduce yourselves to our, audience. Let us first be introduced to Mako Sky.
Hi. I'm Mako Sky, the possessed suit of armor, phantom rogue, now also part monk, who has a pet baby bloat whale that just floats around my head and exists. And
Rogue monk.
I want to
I'm
remind
sure
everybody.
I'm not a ranger.
You got a pet.
Oh
Nah.
yeah. Oh man,
That's all
I'll
it
have
takes,
to ask,
apparently.
I'll have to ask Ploy to give me animal tips.
That's not a good person to ask.
Bad
apparently.
timing.
Yeah.
Bad
Don't let
timing,
them-
dude. Yikes.
I'll give him some time first. But yes, I have just a tiny bloat whale just orbiting my head now. I haven't decided on a name yet.
think
Thinking
of
maybe something. Yeah, I have some ideas. I just haven't decided yet.
Solid.
Jeremy Blaremy, obviously.
Yeah, Floaty McFloatface.
I would love that.
Please don't call him
Odie.
Floaty.
That is
I'll fucking-
absolutely that's his name now. I can't change
I would
it.
sooner quit the campaign. I mean it. Don't fuck with me. I'll end this bitch right now. Don't fuck with me.
I thought of that like as soon as we cut the session last time. I was like, oh, I should have said that.
Floating McFloatface.
In any case,
Floaty McFloatface.
outside of horrible names for pet bloat whales, let us next be introduced to Mitztonquaddle, the Order Keeper.
Hey guys, I'm Michelle. I'm playing Mitztonquaddle. Call me Mitz, please. And also, Mitz has he, him, he, they pronouns today, so please respect the pronouns.
Hey, those are my pronouns.
Hey! Alright. I mean, beyond the fact that Mitz is a wizard, Koala folk.
Wizard
That
Volcowaddle.
joke is never gonna die. God
It's
damn
not-
it.
I almost said wizard folk again. I should have just said it.
You should have. You should have.
It's fine.
One wizard, one folk.
Well, let us next be introduced to. Oh God, how are you gonna do the intro now? Yikes.
Oh no!
Oh God. Well, Ploy, the Hunt Master. Whenever you're ready, go ahead and introduce us to yourself.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Lucian. I play our singular lizard. One
no.
folk. Ploy. And
It's like the end game opening, where like
Silence.
it's like the Marvel logo, with like all the like parts. Some of the Avengers are like missing. It's like the end game logo. I hate it, dude.
Yeah.
F's in the chat for our boy, please.
Yeah. Yeah.
Joe's in the chat.
Joe's
For
in the
Ned.
chat.
Shows in the chat for Ned. Sorry, please finish your intro.
No, I mean that's it. It's just like I play Ploy.
Solid, you do play Ploy. Well,
Yeah.
with moving forward, let's go ahead and say hello to Zenari, the storyteller.
Hey guys, it's me, it's Herhekalite. The beginning of this entire stream, if you could see a transcript of my thoughts right now, it's just a line of question marks. That's just it. That's all. Today I'm gonna be playing Z, or Zenari, our Kalashtar College of Spirits bard, who is the storyteller. And then that's it. Let's move on to
God damn it. Alright, somebody edit like a Sir Heck being confused for 15 minutes straight compilation or something. Somebody edit that, please. I need it.
Oh, there are so many moments. You could probably find it.
At the end of this campaign, we'll have just a compilation of Sir Heck reacts.
So, Oh God, I'm
Sir
laughing so hard.
Hegpog
All right. Well,
I'm just saying that,
mean,
like,
we do
at
need more
least a
info
few
there,
minutes
so-
of that are gonna be screen, like, pauses,
Just-
like when it's just
Oh,
frozen.
absolutely, yeah.
well, with besides me laughing my fucking head off, let's go ahead and introduce ourselves to our last player, Wolf, the God Killer.
Hi, my name's Tate Washburn. I play Wolf, the shifter beast barbarian who's dipped a little bit into ranger, just a very different kind of ranger. Just a hair. He's just getting a little more smarter, a little more in tune with the land around him. He'll be fine.
You might say
And,
you're giving
yeah.
him the old Ranger Dazzle.
Just a little bit of flavor there. But yeah, and he's just gonna be the most werewolf boyfriend energy possible at all times. That is his goal, is to be friendly and excited at whatever it is you're doing.
I the chat. Sorry. Yeah. So, with that said and understood, I think the best thing to do from here is to introduce myself. I am Young Foxxii, also known as Big Foxxii, aka your current and only favorite fox. I am your game maestro for the afternoon, morning, or evening, depending on time zone, meaning I'll be playing everyone that's not these 5 lovely individuals, mortals, gods, and all those things in between. So, in the spirit of saving my teaching voice, because my voice is tired from a long week of teaching, does someone feel comfortable in their best narrational voice recapping the last session for us in about 3 to 5 minutes? I have a reward for whoever does so.
Not
No,
me
I can
then,
do
'cause
that.
it's gonna
I just
take
don't
me
wanna-
more than 3 to 5 minutes.
Well then, Tate, whenever you feel ready. Oh, hold! Don't start yet. I'm gonna set the scene for you. Hold up, I got some. Hold up. Here we go. Hold up.
I am holding up.
Oh,
Giving report to Lady Demond. Salut.
Nah, fuck that. This.
Oh,
Are you
Ooh.
okay?
Oh,
That's
yeah.
cool.
Oh,
that was a lot louder than I thought it would be.
lot of fucking dopeness for your ears. Tate, whenever you're ready. I haven't used this track yet.
Might be
Holy
on the
shit!
delay.
What the fuck's wrong with me?
Pretty good.
many things. Anyway.
Last
Dave.
time on Seven Suns,
Uh-huh.
the party had just arrived back at the base of the Storm Children and had been informed that there were weapons that were powerful enough to destroy a god beast. One in the prison tower that was currently under the control of Kali, and another in a distant mountain cave. When they arrived there were 2 guards of the Blade Dancers who attempted to prevent the party from entering, despite the party politely asking to do so. When they asked less politely, they were allowed in, explored the cavern, and found a temple that sort of explained the way of the Blade Dancers, the path by which they achieved their various feats of blade dancing.
Dancing blades.
In the depths of the temple, Wolf found 2 gauntlets that were powered by soul gems that he's still not sure what they are. That's the side note. And the man who made them, Kali's father, who was unaware that Kali had become a violent warlord. After some confrontation and some emotional trauma, he let us take the soul gem from him. And then at the very end, Net decided to become dancing blades for Ploy, which was very sad.
So, a little more emotional drama.
Just a little
Yes.
feel to take us home.
Yeah.
All of the emotional trauma. Double dose.
There was a little bit that happened towards the end, after you guys returned home. There was a bit of a closing scene that happened, if anybody remembers. But
Aha! Joshua ran off
All right.
to the temple. Because
Yes,
Why not?
that he did.
he did say he had to make one stop first, though. Alas, let us now bring ourselves back into scene with, well, a small intro. Place yourselves not here, not now, but before. So far before that before isn't really a concept. Imagine yourself at the dawn, not of creation, not of the universe, but of calamity. And you have seen this so many times before. You've changed this so many times before. You sit watching the infinite prism that is the change you are to make. And then you see it. That one sector, that one fragment of the universe, that one possibility you shaped with all the changes in the universe. You gaze down into a future you haven't yet made sure will come to pass. You see its eventualities and where it's leading. See the battlefield. See it strewn and open. A continent reshaped in conflict. A single figure standing amidst the ruin. You stare. You watch. As you have always watched. And that figure turns around. The silence suddenly blossoming new awareness in her. She turns and stares you dead in the eye. I see you. And with that, we'll bring ourselves into scene. Our party has returned after a long and arduous bit of travel to the Storm Children base. They have arrived and are resting themselves for some time. And as they are cresting over the horizon, a new day dawns. It's been a night of, well, you'd call it rest if it were restful. But too much has turned in your mind for that. As if this air of change hangs about you all, your arrival back to base is, well, it's quiet. No one really bothers you too much. The nighttime finds yourselves alone amidst a few cots around a fire. This isn't the only time you'll spend alone together, but just before you all pass off for the evening, you sit quietly at this fire, perhaps contemplating, perhaps reminiscing, perhaps maybe even regretting. But as the silence ebbs on, broken only by the slow, gentle rasp of the wind against cave walls, and the slight, even-toned crackle of fire, which of you will be the first to break the silence?
So, what do we do now?
That- Gonna say Wolf might just position himself next to Ploy and not like really ask him how he's going, but just sort of look over.
I think Mitz is probably going to take over cooking duties for the day or the evening.
There's a cook here, but sure.
Look, Ploy is also very good at cooking, though.
I was just gonna keep looking.
Well, if we're all just sitting in a circle, Mako's gonna work on pick up some piece of wood and start carving it.
Yeah, Ploy's not really paying attention or like noticing anybody else's actions or duties. He's just sitting there looking down at his necklace, just like feeling each individual bead on it.
Did you want to talk about it? Wolf will actually say it out loud eventually.
No. Not
Hmm.
not yet.
We're always here when you want to.
Thanks. But I think I just need some time still.
Wolf won't
It's a-
move. He's just
Yeah.
close to him.
This entire time, Z's just been pretty deep in thought, just like, you can see just kind of a calculating expression on her face.
I think Nga is normally, I guess, doing their own thing, floating around, making a nuisance of themselves. But today, Nga is kind of quiet, just like floating around Ploy, but not really saying anything, just being there. Mitz is actually going to take a ladle out from this big pot that she has. It's a bit of a slow cooked stew, except she sped up the time for it to cook with a little bit of magic.
Quickly cooked, slow cooked stew.
Instant
Yeah,
cook, slow cook stew.
Just twinkle twinkle. But yeah, and she's gonna like pull out some wooden bowls and just ladle out like this it's a very thick, rich stew, and it's put over some fresh brewed, well cooked rice. So she's gonna just ladle it out and hand one to each person and plop a nice warm bowl right in Ploy's lap.
Wolf will attempt to be somber as he eats this, but that's not happening. Eventually, he just no, that's so good, and tries to back and like, yeah, okay.
It's pretty spicy. I
Flick
don't know
bowl.
how tolerant everyone is of spice, but this is like the kind of like, it's not like the kind of spicy that'll like make your mouth burn. It's more of like just like.
Let's
I wish
find
the
out.
English language had a word for like things when there's just like a lot of
It's very
spice
good with
to.
spicy food.
It's just warm, you know?
A
Like,
con save. That's hilarious. I love that.
Imagine being affected by spicy food.
Yeah.
Wolf is the opposite of me. He can handle spicy food very well.
Yeah, Ploy's gonna look down at the bowl and go to place it on the ground. And as he does that, the beads on the necklace just float down, surround the bowl, and pick it back up and put it back in his hands.
Aw.
Fitz isn't gonna say anything and just give a quick nod and go back to stirring the leftover soup in the stew in the pot.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, I mean we're at the base, like the Storm Children base, right? Yeah, I mean after a while, there's not really stuff happening in front of this fire circle. Wolf will probably wander off and he wants to test out these gauntlets and see what they really do. He might just find a dummy and be like, all right,
So,
you know.
I'll get to that in a moment. But before you wander off, Wolf, you're all sitting around this fire, just sipping your soup and thinking. When you hear this ricketing of wooden wheels slowly approaching you, she doesn't say much as she approaches, but you all become eventually aware of Lady Temin joining you all around the fire, just for a bit. She moves for a warm welcome, but I think kind of senses the air. I sense you all learned a great deal on your last endeavor.
We did, Venerable One.
She looks around at you all for a bit, does linger her eyes for a bit longer on ploy. Some of you have been changed by it. You'll see her rather obviously glance down at the necklace and glance back up at you, Ploy. Suppose that makes sense, yes?
Guess so.
He'd be happy for you.
I suppose he would.
I know a lot of stories, little one. Tales of heroes and heroines. Adventurers like all of you, I suppose. And if I have found one theme tends to run concurrent amongst all of them, is that the price of fate is often sacrifice. And the horrible thing about sacrifice is that we don't often get to choose when or who. But there are times where those who must give themselves for our ascension, who must take their place amongst the heavens and ancestors for our sake, there are times when they get to make that choice. And I believe those times should be cherished. If that offers no comfort to you, young Ploy, I more than understand. Just know, as one who has seen, read of plenty of heroes, plenty of champions in the making, know this pain you feel is not one you must bear alone.
Not alone, you say?
Each of us is... She looks over to Mako and kind of lingers her eyes on her for a bit. Nothing more than conglomerations of memories. All the people we've attached to us. The ones we love, those we've hated, those we've heralded and killed, those we've loved and cherished. They make up everything that we are in every moment. Until eventually we, like them, become someone else's memories. The pain you bear is mighty. I can see that on your face. But you have blessed friends here with you. And behind you, memories of so many precious ones. Some, she looks back over at the necklace. Some closer than you think.
Yeah, you're right.
It is okay if that still hurts. It is okay to hurt, Ploy.
I don't know if it'll ever not hurt.
And that is okay too. I sense my wise words might be better for future ears. I will leave you all to your thoughts for the evening. But if you find time, do check in on your ship, Captain.
The ship?
She wouldn't mind speaking with you, from last I hear. Such a powerful soul.
Zor'aa. Maybe that would do me some good, wouldn't it?
I wouldn't know. And she'll just start to kind of wheel away.
Well, maybe. Yeah.
Party well.
Pretty well.
Yeah.
Pretty well.
Generally, I find doing
Every boy
something.
feel better. The party will.
I think Wolf would say, generally, I find the best way to feel better for me is to do something.
Right.
Just something. And yeah, Wolf will go off and do the thing he was going to do. But we don't have to play that out, depending what's there, so.
We'll get to it.
Huh.
Mm-hmm. In fact, I'll do it right now, actually, if there's nothing else you want to have here in this moment. So, it's getting a little late in the evening. Close to when even those of you who are the most night owls would probably want to get some sleep. Wolf, you go tattle on over to the training room. You actually don't see Secrets to Tinker. He's probably huddled himself over into a bunk somewhere just to get some sleep. You do see Nakiue. There's a couple of crates that appear to have all been crushed inward with some hay kind of stuffed into them. You can see the massive shape of his bulk just kind of slowly snoring in there. You come in just to, see what's going on. You find a training dummy kind of, other end of the room from where he is. And you throw your gauntlets on, give him a good shake of the wrist, kind of see how you're feeling. And as you're concentrating on that feeling of these gauntlets on your arm, you kind of feel this surge of strength kind of move through you. You throw that punch forward, just cannon that fist forward. It hits the training dummy, and it leaves a decent fist-shaped dent in the middle of its chest. A rustle of wind is pretty quickly kind of goes right by it. The thing that's the most noticeable, though, is that you're currently looking into the kitchen. Just behind the training dummy, there's about a 6 or 7 foot in diameter hole cut directly through it.
Oops.
You start looking, hoping no storm children pop their head into the other side of the hole and look at you and go, what the actual fuck? The only sound you are greeted with besides the crickets chirping and the night air is a slight grunting from behind you, just, I could do better.
Wolf is not even going to turn around. He's like, well, I generally don't punch things. I go for claws. They're much stronger. This is more of a test. They're new. He just shakes the gauntlet.
He picks up, just grabs your whole wrist. Pretty. Drops.
But yes, they're interesting. I think Wolf would take the Conqueror's axe off his back and hand it in a key way and be like, "What do you feel when you hold this?"
He grabs it, holds it for a second, looks down at you. Like killing you.
Yeah, Wolf gently takes it back. That's... The gauntlets are the opposite, it seems. They're common, and yet they might be stronger.
And as you're looking at Nakiue for a moment, you kind of see this weird kind of effervescent glow behind him for a second. And then you kind of feel this slight burning around the gauntlet. It's not painful, just mildly uncomfortable. But
I might need a cream for that. Don't worry about it.
it does feel like it's not rage, it's not anger, but it's this fervent, not so much desire, but knowledge that you could and maybe may or may not should kill Nakiue. But it's not because of who he is. There's something in him.
Nikiwe, may I ask you a question?
Sure.
I assumed you're like me, you feel, and like Wolf has to think for a second to put it into like words. You feel wrath isn't the right word, but action, like an anger that moves you forward, that propels you in combat. I think I see some of that in you.
Like if I were sensible, the thing that'd be best to do would be to rip you apart limb from limb and cast into each side of Zor'aa.
Generally, yeah. Although that's more specific than I think it normally is.
Since I saw you.
Hmm. The fact that we are not currently attempting to do that means to me that you're also like me, that you've learned that it's not always the right decision to give into those impulses.
Maybe.
Mhm.
I think it's simple. Well, you're the God Killer, right?
Like, that's what they say.
Well, then it suits.
Have you given into those instincts and done something you regretted?
No. Never. Well. I should explain. You killed gods. There's God in here. Not in the way you know it, I think. I'm not a god. He gives a real bloody smirk for a second. I ate one.
That is a legend worthy of you, friend.
See, fucking dead.
And he looks and says, those gauntlets, they kill gods?
At least god beasts, and at least that's what they're supposed to do.
He kneels down over you. Oughta hurt me a bunch.
Wolf, like, pops his neck a bit. I do believe we owe each other a sparring match.
You hear this resounding boom as his tail smacks the ground right next to you. I thought you'd never ask.
Then I will do you the honor of not holding back. And Wolf is, before combat starts, just at this moment, going to shift and then also werewolf shift, so just the whole 9 yards.
Mm-hmm. So,
Partially just so he's not so horribly outclassed in size.
oh yeah, Wolf.
As the set's going down, just...
Yeah, Wolf, you become this massive, 8, 9, 10 foot, large sized creature. Wolf, you're this huge, large, dire wolf sized creature bearing down in front of Nakiue, just as the late night starlight is beginning to illuminate, the slight holes in the cave where illumination is meant to pierce through. Nakiue shakes his neck a bit. You see him kind of flex, and a lining of tattoos kind of begin to cover him for a bit. He peels his head back a bit and lets out a really, really loud roar, so loud it shakes the ground, and you're certain it wakes a couple people up, and they're gonna be very fucking unhappy about it.
A couple.
A few. Some people are awake. He then, as he kind of stretches, you see that as he kind of comes down from this roar, where before you guys were kind of maybe about even now that you grew, his snout's just the slightest bit taller than yours now, and those spines on his back have now grown into firm ridges, and his clawed hands are just large and meaty, and he then just holds one arm out, and the rest of you who are resting currently in the overall crew quarters, you're all having a conversation about, I don't know, the weather, who knows what. And
It's the ruins, of course.
Ruins, of course. You're talking about ruins.
They made me their chief.
Yeah, Mitz, you're going through a long random rant about some ruins you took notes on, and like you're just like, and so I believe the dating happens to put it down too. And you're looking out of the hallway as a shape, a bright, colorful shape, definitely at least as big as you, if not a bit bigger, just sails down the hallway. Definitely not a person, and definitely not being carried by anyone.
Nope.
And Wolf, you watch as in that outstretched hand, just a moment later, lands this massive club with blades of obsidian like teeth on either side and bright red, yellow, and blue runes of a script you've never seen before lining the middle on either side.
Well, I mean, if it's script that I haven't seen before, that's not exactly impressive. I've not seen quite a lot of scripts.
I don't read!
But this can't stop me because I can't breathe.
Exactly, the fucking Arthur read. Okay.
Yeah.
Cue facepalm.
Wolf is gonna square up and, like, mechanically is going to rage and probably get, like, the big tail thing going on, just as, like, oh no, this is someone I need to be defensive against.
Yep. You feel your tail grow spiny and, like, smack into, like, a support beam a little bit and, like, crack it a bit. Not crazy, just a little bit. You're squaring off. You're angry. He's angry. You're excited. He's excited. And then just beneath you, you hear, wait!
Looks down.
It's Nakali.
Of course it is.
If either of you break my base, I promise you I'll kill both of you. And God or God Killer or not, nothing you can do will save you from me. Go outside like good boys.
Who's a good boy?
I
Okay,
mean, that's
Mom.
exactly how Wolf is going to feel. Be like, no, that's entirely fair. You're right.
Nah, we're...
Giant werewolf head just okay.
Are they even gonna fit through the corridors, or do I have to teleport them out?
They'll fit. Barely.
The Q is gonna have to like squish a little, but
But they stumble outside, and now you're out amongst the desert sands. The wind blowing, the river just slightly ambient behind you. And as you face each other down, squared up, Nakiue smashes the club into the sand, lets go of it, beats his chest twice, and just stares at you. A very clean indicator of, hit me.
Wolf's never one to say no. Yeah, he just running jump, just big old claw swipe right at him. Like, all right.
Go ahead and roll me either an attack roll or an athletics check, either one you want.
Oh well, then I'm doing athletics because I'm better at that.
No.
21, and since you did athletics, then I have to do a contested check to try to match you. Where are my dice? Oh, definitely 20.
Unfortunately, we both have advantage, so this is gonna get weird.
Uh-huh. Unfortunately for you, his advantage gave him a crit.
Oh no.
So you you come down with this huge claw and just slash straight across his face. It cuts it a bit deep. You draw a bit of blood. You come right across the face. It's a good solid impact. Like you can hear that boom. Like it's a resounding impact. And as you kind of land and you look up, you see his face still turned. He just kind of grabs his own head and yanks it back. The cut on his face still visible. Not as visible as the smile, though. My turn.
Yeah. Wolf doesn't really have a lot to say. He's like, please.
And
Oh no.
you'll just see him bring both hands up and smash them down as hard as he possibly can. Wolf, with advantage. Does a 27 hit you, Wolf?
Well, boo, because I just got to 22 with that reaction, but yeah, it'll hit me.
Hold on, I need to get some dice. Let's see. Base is that, plus Giant Smite, plus the other thing. So
The other thing, that doesn't sound great.
Oh, thankfully you rolled a lot of ones. So, let's see. Just 13 damage to you, Wolf. As you feel
How's
just
that
like
all?
this hammer blow smack down into like your the rear of like your neck and just pancake you into the dirt for a second. You recover perfectly fine. You're not knocked prone or anything. But it's a wake-up call. Like you were maybe a little bit on the edge of sleep before this fight kicked off. Oh no, it's like that first hit of espresso in the morning. You're like, "Oh, fuck yeah."
Oh no.
I'm gonna go ahead and say, what do you want to do in reaction to that, Wolf?
Yeah, I think this is, he just got him down beneath him, and Wolf's like, all right, let's see what else you got. And he's actually going to try and, like, wrestle this man, like, put one arm between his legs, one under his arm, and try and just fully rotate him into the ground, since he's got this sort of odd position.
So for clarity, your goal is to try to tackle and roll him.
Well, just, he's got his footing in front of him. It's more like move one foot out wide so that you can just roll him like judo throw
Okay, so
him.
the plan is to roll him, yes?
Yeah, I have double lifting and advantage and
Go ahead and roll
expertise
that.
at this.
Go ahead and roll that thing you just said you were gonna roll.
Better than a 10, come on.
Let's see. Can he beat a 30 with advantage? He cannot. So you get
This is what, well,
you get a real good grip on him, and you just
mhm.
flip him over, like just boom, like sand picks up in this huge wave as you just impact him into the sand. And go ahead and roll me 5d8 real quick. 23. Yeah, you kind of just see like his nose flatten into the dirt for a second, and you definitely hear like something crack just a little bit. The next thing you notice, however, though, as you're flipping him over, is the set of jaws that come out at you. As you just
Not
tried
great.
to flip over a crocodile who can death roll.
Mm.
So, I'm gonna go ahead and have you roll athletics. You technically roll neutral here because you get disadvantage from the attempt from him, but advantage from yourself. 29's good,
29.
That is pretty good.
Oof.
but meets it beats it.
Ah, boo.
Oh.
To be fair, the meets it was a 19, so it was very close. So yeah, you just see him come around, like you see these jaws kind of come up, clamp down on you, hard enough to draw blood, but not hard enough to like seriously like mega like. In fact, you only take.
He's holding me.
Yeah, you only take.
Yeah.
Well, we rolled a 6, so you take 9 damage from that. But the worst part is that he then just literally lifts you with his jaws, and then just thrashes his head around, implanting you into the sand, and then dragging you around as he rolls over. That's gonna go ahead and be. Hold up. 12, 18.
Also, are we having this with rage? Should we just say flat? This is the number.
Yeah. You can say rage. Rage is fine. Yeah, it's fine to have this. It's fine. So go ahead and have the 27 damage you just took from being death rolled. And then I guess I'll give him the bonus action as he's recognizing this is now fucking serious as his nose is cracked. He does let the death roll go. He won't hold the grapple because he has to for the bonus action. So you'll see him you'll see you lets go. You roll out of his grip and you jump up. You'll see him hold out his hand again as that the club vaunts itself back into his hand. He'll thrash the side of it, roar again, and you don't remember it being stormy outside. But thunder starts crackling. And all of you who are inside, as you are going back to talking about ruins, assuming that whatever happened was perfectly normal and not any of your fucking business, You suddenly
I
hear.
assume they saw Wolf and the Kiwi walk out, just like
Oh, I mean, yeah.
children being told to play nice.
I mean, did you guys see Nakiue and Wolf walk out? I'll ask you.
I don't know.
I think so. So Mitz did notice the shape just go foo, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
Yeah.
he's kind of curious though. I feel like he would have like he would have gotten up for probably interrupting his discussion with Z, and like been like probably gotten as far as the doorway and looked out to see Nakiue and Wolf go out.
So,
I think Mitz would have followed them out.
well, so Mitz goes outside, and Mitz, you're outside as you see this kind of like thunderstorm brewing. The rest of you are inside, talking about whatever, assuming just, you know what? Mitz's business, not ours. When suddenly, you hear a rippling, booming pile of thunder across the sky. And again, you're certain it wasn't stormy tonight.
Yeah, he
It's-
would probably go and check that, because what the fuck?
Terrible night for rain.
Oh my
God damn it, dude. Fuck. Oh.
Well, we might have cursed as well.
Well,
Hey, Chad, should we record and sell our pre-game calls on Patreon? I feel like we might have to with all the in-jokes that keep
we
happening.
got some real good jokes
Yeah.
in there.
Yeah. There's some good ones.
Anyways,
So yeah, so you, if any of you choose to go outside to join Mitz and the rest, you come out to notice, well, Nakiue, or a larger creature that looks vaguely like Nakiue, and a massive werewolf that you're pretty certain is Wolf, with a spiky tail and everything. Just
seen this
literal
before.
sand wrestling. And then Nakiue gets a little bit angry and, well, not angry, just roars a bit, and thunder starts brewing, and you'll see lightning start to begin to strike around the battlefield. Not anywhere near enough to actually risk causing any harm to either of them, but clearly around, as you'll see small patches of sand literally beginning to turn to glass as they are struck by lightning. And Nakiue, you just see him look at you, Wolf, and just, now we play for real.
about damn time!
Alcohol for this.
Is that his turn?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, then this is gonna be a, Wolf is gonna try and hit him and do a tripping attack with just the claw.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Go
and
for
he's
it.
definitely gonna wreck this attack at this point, because why not? Please. Roll thing.
So, okay, so what's the DC for to not get tripped?
It is, not as much as you'd think. I want to say it's, if my strength score is 16, that's,
Hey, Tate,
8.
he nat one.
Hey! So yeah,
So, yeah, feel free to describe it if you want how you're attempting to trip him.
well, yeah, so he just, sort of death rolled Wolf, and I think Wolf actually lands on all fours, and then it's just this, jump and shoulder elbow sweep both his legs as much as possible. He also takes an additional bit of damage from that. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, hey! Maximum, so that's 4, 5, 6. It's 14, but, in half. And then, yeah, it's going to just be 2 more attacks on this guy on the ground. I've already reckless attack, so it doesn't really matter, but,
So, if you don't mind me cutting in real quick. So, you lash out and you trip him over. There's a pretty loud boom of sand that kicks up around all the spectators as you all, you see Nakiue trip over to the ground. The dust goes to settle, and Wolf, you kind of also try to shake a bit of dust out of your eye just a little bit. And you find yourself, as you kind of try to take the initiative on the attack more, you leap forward, and you find yourself just about muzzle to snout with him. Just for a moment. And there's just the slightest pause. you just feel a.
Mm.
And then you'll just hear from the side, "All right, you two, I think that's enough for the night."
Wolf like claw up this paused moment and then
Nakiue, not having moved an inch from your face, just, that was fun.
the lightning was very cool. Although, well, I guess Wolf's a werewolf right now, so it's this like very just barely intelligible.
Oh,
The lightning was pretty cool.
oh, he gets it entirely with no question. He's just like,
Yeah.
he just pats his stomach again, just, ain't a god.
Wolf starts like shifting back. It's like, I really don't know exactly why some of my people are more werewolf-ish or not. Maybe we're descended from one? It would make sense. I don't know.
Ignore that.
He
Uh,
de-shifts a bit more, and just, I haven't seen my people in, what, centuries now?
it's very sad, friend.
I'm a traveler. I keep the waves at my back, and I move to wherever I feel myself most called. When I find worthy prey or slavers to chow on, I make my home for a bit.
There's plenty of worthy prey here. I can understand why you've been around.
Without really indicating the fight, he just says, "Later, again."
I mean, yeah, as long as he can, Wolf will just keep sparring with him, like, in the afternoons, I guess.
And so, as you are sort of free to, de-shift and walk back over towards the entrance again, you see, well, you see your four compatriots who have now been awakened from their conversations and have come to outside to notice the rabble rousing.
Hey! I had a good time. Did it look cool? I couldn't really see the lightning so much, but it seemed like that would have been very interesting to watch.
Pretty
You're not
cool.
sure how? Oh, sorry. You're not sure why, but Mitz has a giant cask of some kind of alcohol and is downing cups like no one's business.
Sorry if I've, scared any of you.
Good show. Toast
Oh,
to
okay.
toast to Wolf.
Not necessarily scared, just surprised.
Oh, Wolf just assumes if someone's drinking a bunch, there's like a reason.
Yeah.
Hasn't seen Mitz drink that much, honestly. He's like, oh, well, I didn't know he did that. Okay.
He's when Mitz feels more like a guy, he feels more up to drinking. Let's leave it at that. So
Yes,
people-
that's Mitz's real gender is alcohol.
This is true
He
gender is drinking.
At least today.
pulls out another goblet, scoops it up, offers it over to Wolf. Grabs
yeah.
another one and offers it to Nakiue if he's still there.
Oh yeah, he comes by and just like whole hands the mug and just drops it back to you.
It's some kind of like warm mulled cider, but like definitely a lot more alcohol than a normal cider.
Oh yeah, he just cans the whole thing. Just, thank you, tiny one.
Mitz looks a little bit up because Mitz is very tall. It's like I think Mitz is at least like 6'7" minimum. Oh,
He just
kinda like-
being very beanpole.
Mitz is like a little confused. Sure.
I mean, considering you reached like his chest,
Yeah.
he tall.
Just
Everyone is small to him.
downs another glass, passes one off to Ploy.
He's gonna take it and drink and then pass it back.
Just going to detail the passing of the cup. Yes.
Yep.
It's as you're doing that, Floyd, you all kind of hear this really faint, low, whale song rumble. It's faint, but Ploy, you hear it kind of more as like a call.
Nope. Guess Durga's calling me. I'll be back.
To the party well!
Party well.
To the party well.
And
It's
Hooray.
gonna hand him another glass to drink. It's like, here, take this to Durga.
That
so you take the mug, Ploy, if you want to,
Yeah, I'll take it.
and you start to move your way, just away from the group, kind of more towards the sort of light tree patch, not too far from the cave mouth opening, as the rest of you go off to resume your night. So we'll chat back in with you all in just a moment. Don't you worry. But as you're traveling, you are eventually, as you clear through a tree patch, you come across this large clearing, which the Storm Children have laid a massive, overworn sort of tarping over of this kind of like greenish and orangish pattern to kind of allow Durga and some of the other bloat whales to kind of rest if they ever want to here without having to remain in the sky or hide somewhere else. One or two of the other younger bloat whales are here resting, but the face you immediately recognize as you enter the clearing is, well, Durga's. Very familiar bulk. She doesn't have the cabin of the ship attached to her. It's been removed by the Storm Children, you imagine, for a bit. So you just see her in her full sort of, well, naked glory, I suppose. But you do kind of, again, hear that whale song pulse into your brain and feel that similar tickle of, like, that presence creeping through all the folds in your brain for a brief moment.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and connect with Durga and be like, hey, I brought you a cup, I guess? Looking at it now, I feel like this isn't gonna do much for you.
You hear this light, airy chuckle in your head, just, oh, Ploy, bringing me a drink already? How savvy of you. I don't do alcohol, love, thank you. The gesture is very fond, though.
That's understandable. And Ploy's just gonna drink it himself then.
I haven't seen you since Al-Sol. How are you?
Things are not good.
She says, where is... You hear her focus a bit. Oh. Oh my.
Yeah.
My condolences for your loss.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, he is still here. Ploy's gonna, like, kinda fondle the necklace a little bit.
You have been chosen for a high office.
We'll say I'm more of like a guest elder.
Guest elder Ploy does a nice ring to it. I'll agree. Nonetheless, the pain you feel must be immeasurable. I am so sorry.
Well, we'll see. I mean, he's still here. And you see like the beads like kind of dance a little bit. I'm sure he'll find a way to,
He has bequeathed you a great gift. I am sure he will find a way to speak with you again. Someday.
Someday.
And he may not be the only one. Tell me, have you learned how to use those yet?
No. There was no time.
How much time do you have right now?
As much as you want, if it'll help me communicate better with Net in his current form.
Then hold still. This may feel uncomfortable. First, I believe you have some lessons to learn. Employ, your vision blacks out for a second there, like You're still conscious, but you stop really being able to see anything in front of you for a moment. And then you kind of mentally reopen your eyes. Your eyes never close, but you kind of mentally will yourself to see again. And you're not in the clearing anymore. You're not in front of Durga. You're somewhere in Zor'aa, I think. You think. It's an open, wide, sparse patch of dune where rare bits of grass pop up here and there. In the distance, a small oasis of water. A yabak is grazing, slowly lowering its head towards the pool of water and draining itself in for several minutes, filling its sacks with water to prepare for a long journey towards another oasis. You watch, and then you see it, just below the waterline. Eyes locked and tight, rows of teeth like a dagger maw waiting, split forked tails swishing in the cold water. A sorrowless lurks, quietly scanning its prey, slicing itself back and forth in the water as it looks for the best angle. And when it's ready, when it's prepared, you see this glint in its eye. Go ahead and roll me either insight or nature for survival.
Insight, nature, or survival? Do survival.
What are we looking at?
Hey.
Oh,
The nat
crit.
20.
Crit, crit.
Go.
You are looking, and you see this glint in its eye, like it's found the perfect angle, like it's looking for an attack vector. In the moment, you see coiled muscle and bunched torso and a flash as it leaps out, breaching several feet of distance between the waterline and the neck of this yabak in almost a microsecond. Its teeth out at the perfect angle as it lashes forward, glancing itself, or dashing forward. It clenches down on the prey, drags it into the dirt. The yabak swings back, trying to fight, its legs kicking and bucking as it tries to deflect against this assault on itself. And that's when you see it. That reaction, that kickback, that's what it was waiting for. The moment the legs of the yabak kick up to kick at it, this Sarvalisk opens its mouth just a bit wider and clamps down, catching its rear two legs in its mouth along with the most of the nape of its neck it has. Having this thing in an effective lasso tie with its bare maw, it wrestles this yabak to the ground and drags it beneath the waves. It won't come back up. Axe. The word passes through your head like knowledge, like memory. The axe technique. Reflexive guard, pausing for a moment, and a crippling counterstrike. It's almost like just nature playing its course. You lose your vision again. And then it resolves again. And you're amongst the desert. A high dune carving up against the horizon. A caravan of travelers is making their way inbound to some trade town or somewhere. A large, hulking, bulk traveler wagon being their main method of transport. It's traveling silently in the low sunset. None of them would have ever seen it coming. In an instant, the side of the dune explodes in a shape, an arm, a pincer-ended arm, lances out like a cannon, piercing straight through the hulking mass of this wagon, hooking it in. and as it drags it back towards the waiting mouth of a Zoran devil, you hear the screams of the dying as they prepare themselves for a death they never saw themselves awaiting. Spear. Distance, surprise, a blade point that shatters any defense. You understand this, like nature following its course. You lose your vision again. And when it manifests now, it's not a creature before you. At least not in the way you think you know them. No, that's wrong. You know these. You just have been around one so long, you stopped seeing them like animals. A pack of giant lizards moves in unison, encircling a large group of prey. These lizards aren't like the ones native to your island. They're Zoran native. You don't quite know how they fight, but you watch as they circle slowly, using the tree lines to keep to the quiet, climbing and crawling to keep themselves hidden. One picks its head up. A frill spawns on either side of its wide neck, and with its neck raised up, it just... And beneath it, you see the large creature it was hunting, which you're not really sure you've seen before, suddenly has a massive 8 or 9 inch spine out of the middle of its neck. It falls over, weakened but not quite dead. And then another, and another, and another, and another from the whole pack. And it takes you a second because that's not a technique you saw. It's not one of the 4 stances. It's not one of the master's techniques either. And then it crosses through your head. Employee, I think you know what this technique would be called. Not axe, not sword, not spear, not dagger. But
I don't want to say it. You say it.
congratulations, Ploy. You have learned the bladed soul technique, Javelin.
Yay.
And as your vision darkens again, you return to the clearing. A hot breath of air from Durga's nostril bringing you back to the present. It's much later in the night now. Several hours have passed. Did you learn something?
How do you know these things?
I don't.
Then how could you show them to me?
I didn't. He did.
Oh,
Reach out.
guess that
towards
makes sense.
Feel. Extend your perception. Deepen that connection to every beast in Zor'aa you feel. Do you feel it yet? That undercurrent, that treble and bass underlining the song you sing out to every beast in this waste. Do you feel him speaking to them on your behalf?
I think so. It feels faint.
You will hear more of it in time. In his passing, your friend has extended your friendship to every creature in this waste. The bond you felt with him, that connection, it lives on. Whenever you need aid, call for him. Someone will answer.
Someone. Wait a second. Anyone?
Who knows?
All right. That. I mean, I feel like you could be a little selective.
You underestimate your friend's trust in you.
I guess that's true.
It's late, my dearest. Get some rest. You've seen a very long day.
It has been a long day.
There is another who is attempting to walk a similar path as you. Find and train with him. Grow stronger in that connection to your friend. Even gone, he is your light.
There's another? But we're the last.
Time has a funny way of making lasts stick.
Yes, that's true.
I'll cease being cryptic. Rest. I'll talk with you
Okay.
again soon.
Rest is a good idea.
And she kind of lets the connection slowly fade and separate as she offers one more just warm tuft of air in your direction for just to kind of warm your face and offer some condolence. And you're, free to depart whenever you feel.
I'm just gonna walk over, find his bed, and just pass out, basically.
Ploy, you return to the Storm Children base. Again, it's much later in the evening. I wager most of your friends are probably either on their way to bed or asleep already. But I do want to take a quick pan to one individual. Zanari, it's been a long day. You're probably fixing to get some sleep pretty soon, I wager, yeah?
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. And it's as you're settling into your bunk, your bed, your rack for the evening, as it were, that you feel this presence. It's a warmth around your left ring finger.
Okay, I look at it.
It's the ring we've been wearing for a
Yeah.
while now. It's definitely there, but it's a little different now, weirdly enough. Where before it was just a pure obsidian black, it now kind of looks like the shadowy black that makes it up is writhing, moving just the faintest bit. I'm sorry I haven't made time to speak with you. You hear from just to your right.
Alright, I've been pretty busy too. You couldn't see what all happened at the Ascension site, and then the last temple that we went to.
Do you turn to face her?
Yeah.
Shayar has always looked to you like the picture perfect, like a marble statue brought to life in blue-skinned perfection. There's never been a flaw or crack in her features, which is why the look on her face is so haunting when you see it. She looks shattered to you, lost in some kind of despair. In fact, you can see the streaks of what on a mortal woman you'd assume would be makeup stained by tears.
Yeah, Z will be just kind of like turning around as she's like already, kind of started talking. sees that kind of mid-turn and mid-sentence is... What's wrong?
I'm sorry.
What are you sorry about? You probably don't have to be. What's wrong?
I knew all of this would happen. With her. I planned it. And I knew if I told you, you wouldn't go through with it.
I mean, you're right.
Do you know
You're right.
how many eternities we spent together? For me? An endless amount of time loving you, caring for you, and being loved by you. A timeline sprawled out to infinity of me and you. Do you know how many times amongst all that I have lied to you? Just this once.
So, thank God.
Just this once.
Not gonna say I'm not hurt by this because obviously I am. How could I not? But I'm not gonna say I don't understand. I do. I do. You're completely right that I wouldn't have gone through with it. But at the very least, at least she's okay.
I've never understood how you can be so... Forgiving isn't the word. I don't deserve forgiveness yet. I thank you, Zanari.
No need for that. I don't know. I would probably feel the same way if I was in your position. That's why I'm like this, I guess, by your definition.
You'll see her open hands you didn't notice until now were clenched this entire time. Just enough that you can see her palms. In them is, well, an onyx black circle. A pure mirror of yours. I thought you would hate me for this. Do you still love me?
Of course. And there's very little you could do that would make me just walk away. The fact that Ami's okay is what makes this forgivable. The only thing or things that would make me want to go away or not be around you ever again would be things that are entirely irreversible.
Thank you. She slowly goes to move the ring back onto her left ring finger. It falls into place perfectly. She still kind of plays with her hands for a bit. It's almost weird, the sort of feeling you get watching a god be nervous. I will tell you the whole truth now.
My only requirement, never again.
Amutep and I, individually, and even together, played with fate a million different times. You fell in love with me more than I can remember, in them more than I can remember. But in none of them, could I save you all. I have watched you die so many times. And I knew the only way I could change that would be to give you some fragment of this godhood of mine. And the only way to do that would be to wind your fate in with Mit's. I knew of only one way I could ensure that you would take the steps toward divinity. I would have to give away the one thing you asked me for in an infinite number of eternities of never asking me for anything. There is one last truth to what happens because of Ami's ascension. Divinity is a finite thing. The fates I had written would see one of two options go forward. In the first, Mitz's divinity would simply be replaced with Ami. As divinity is not an infinite concept, the remaining divinity that was Amutep would simply become Ami. However, where one god was lost, there are now 3 new ones. You, too, split most of Amutep's divinity between the two of you. But in order to take the rest of it, and to ensure that she would pass on and exist beyond when all this was over, some divinity had to be given to ensure Ami's. Mine.
Wait, so that means...
When it all ends, when you finally decide to cross over, you and her will have an endless eternity of happiness. But I will not be there.
Why?
It has been 2 months, 14 days, 6 hours, 36 minutes, 12 seconds, and 14 microseconds since you've put that ring on. But I have been married to you for an endless number of eternities, Zanari. There are not words to describe the way I love you. I would turn the universe upside down to see you smile. Invert the stars themselves if it would make you happy for just a moment. I knew that passing on to divinity without her would shatter you. If the last thing I can do is keep you whole, then I will disappear happily into the void.
It can't be undone now, can it?
Not as far as I know. Do you want to hear a story?
Of course.
This one time, I believe it was the 1427th timeline where we've fallen in love. Or maybe the one after that, I'm not 100% certain. I came across you in Al-Sal. I figured that all the flash of just appearing randomly in the middle of, well, all of my godly glory would be too much, so I took on the guise of a beggar. Sat in the city corner of a tavern, asking for a few gold for a drink. Not food or anything special, just a thing to wet the palate. And in this timeline, you and your friends, yes, you and Mitz and Ploy and Mako and I believe Wolf was a cat in this universe, maybe. Whatever the case.
Yeah.
You forced your friends to sit with me for hours and hours and hours. Not just to get me a drink, but to share it with you all. And you wouldn't let any of them move until they knew I was okay. I'd fallen in love with you a few thousand times before then, but I think that singular moment was when I really realized that there is not a corner of the multiverse where I don't adore you.
Just at a loss. At a loss of words right now. Which doesn't happen often. Just hard to imagine after all of this what anything's gonna look like. Another one of my constants is not gonna be there now.
If I have learned anything in my long time as a god, my love, unfortunately nothing is constant. Except, of course, for this. And she kind of like takes your hand in hers for a moment. There is nothing I can say that will make this hurt less. The one thing that I regret more than anything else is that I will not be around to see whatever beautiful, blissful world you create in the aftermath of all this chaos. So do me one last favor and make it for me, please. She'll be waiting for you at the end.
I don't doubt that for a second.
And tell Mitz and Ploy their wedding gifts were lovely. Very thoughtful.
Of course.
She takes you in a very, very warm embrace, holding you closely for several minutes. And as you can see through one of the slight holes in the cavern, it's now firmly night, the star curtain painting an ambient scene. She whispers in your ear, "I can stay for the night."
Sorry about that. Having some internet issues.
All good.
Yeah, you'll spend the night with their wife.
And as you two kind of
Spend the night with death.
And as you two settle in to spend one last evening in the embrace of death, you faintly notice Ploy kind of walk back in and just cuddle in and conk out. And before we check in with everyone else's reactions and get a few more scenes out of the day, I think this might not be a bad spot for me to give my players a little bit of a break, huh?
Yeah.
Well, we certainly have had some feels going on, huh? But hopefully we can. My bad for that. But hey, let's.
Pat, would you believe that Foxxii said he didn't want a super emotionally heavy episode
Yeah.
this time?
Yeah,
Imagine.
I don't
You
know
also
why I did
said
to
that you didn't
myself.
want to talk that much today.
This
Yeah, I
Like,
know,
was supposed
right?
to be a chill session.
Listen,
You aren't going to cry today.
listen. I got really good players, and I'm taking advantage of that. Don't fucking judge me. Whatever the
Yeah,
case, we're
that's
gonna
fine.
be right back. Don't go anywhere. Stay locked and tight. We'll be returning with the Seven Sons, and probably for more crying. Who knows? In either case,
Oh,
Remains to be
God.
seen.
Who knows?
Bye.
goodbye.
Bye.
return. Welcome back to the Seven Sons, our 5e homebrew actual play live stream. Where we last left off, our adventurers have been taking some time to rest. Excuse me. Taking the night to reassess, discover new things, and perhaps converse with themselves and each other. Wolf, after trying to discover the new powers of his godlike gauntlets, has a bit of a scuffle with Nakiue, the God Eater, as it were, which Chad has dubbed him, which I love. Afterwards, Ploy met with Durga, a long, solemn chat. He then was imparted a lesson from the beasts of Zor'aa, who, through their natural ways, taught him some of the basics of the ways of the bladed soul. Learning in that, his dear friend Ned, while gone, had spoken on his behalf to the beasts of Zor'aa in his party. And lastly, as the night wanes on into the later evenings and the party settles into sleep, Zenari received a visit from her dear beloved, the goddess of death, Shayada, who revealed to her the full truth. Ami's ascension, as well as Zenari's and Mit's, had all been planned by Shayada. The cost, her own existence. And at the end, when Zenari takes her place amidst the heavens with young Ami, her dear wife will not be there. We rejoin our party in the earlier parts of the morning. The sun has just begun to peek through the holes in the cavern. You all had a night of, well, again, something close to rest. And as the morning begins to greet you, you all gather in the mess hall to share food and, well, perhaps check in with each other. Which of you do you believe would probably be there first?
I'd say Wolf this time, just because he is... Like, it's something that's been sort of happening in the background, but every time he's been shifted, he's sort of learning a little more about this land in itself, and I think he'd end up waking up very early to go spend, like, an hour just finding various herbs and plants and things, because he now can make poultices, little healing potions that only he can use on people or himself. But I think that's, like, he gets up very early to do a little bit of scouting, little hunting, and, like, gathering that up. So he might just be, like, in the kitchen already having breakfast and just, like, mixing some stuff, muttering to himself, and he pulls out, like, an old notebook that, if you look over, is obviously, like, old handwriting of his, and he's like, why didn't I take better notes when I was in school, mother? Testing some stuff out.
Fair enough. Who joins up next?
Ploy's gonna walk into the kitchen and start making breakfast.
What are you working on today, Ploy?
Oh, you know, just some sweet rolls.
The best breakfast possible, of course.
Classic.
Yeah.
Breakfast of champions right there.
Classic
Yep,
Ploy breakfast.
sure is.
Nothing wrong with that.
Wolf has, like, a bird he caught that's just been roasted as he's eating it, and he's like, oh, those sweet rolls smell so much better.
I shouldn't. Oh. Anywho,
You do. Every time.
Every time. Why would you not? I mean, honestly. As Ploy is working on his sweet rolls and Wolf is tending to his bird and book, who will next join the group?
Z probably will have middle of the pack. Kind of get up, get dressed, get ready. As she's getting dressed, maybe focus on Shard. God, Shard is just below her clavicles. And yeah, just go off to the rest of the group after that.
Zenari, as you run your hands over that gem in your chest, you notice again that onyx black band around your ring. representing your bond, Shayada. It's a bit different now. Where before it was pure black, and last night those shadows kind of writhed and whirred. Now it's settled back into that pure Vanta black almost. But just at the apex, at the crest of your finger, is a glittering, tiny little inset of the brightest gold you have ever seen. It's almost sunlight. And yeah, you, Wolf and Ploy, as you're handling your business and doing your things, you do notice Zenari eventually join the two of you.
I have a question for Zenari. Are you, like, trying to hide where you are emotionally? Is it obvious what has just happened?
Ooh.
Important questions.
That is a fantastic question.
I'm gonna fall back. Important questions.
Fuck. I would think there's maybe an attempt. There's an attempt there. I'm not sure how good it is. I mean, she's decent at deception, so it's like it could be pretty good. But
I was gonna say that Wolf only has a 5 to insight. So yeah, if Z sits down, Wolf will just he has all these herbs out on this table and various things, and he'd probably look at Z and do you know what they called this one? It looks a lot like what we called I guess catnip isn't the right word. Something like that. It's like a cat's weed. No, it is for cats. It's like cat's weed or lion's weed. Not sure. I think it's the same thing. I don't know. And he'd ask for your help identifying some of these. He's trying to make his first poultice in a decade and a half.
Yeah, I mean, this is the first time I've seen Wolf do any of that. So it's just at first a little bit confusion. It's like, have I woken up in a different dimension or something? Wolf is now.
It would be very obvious to anyone who's a good scholar, though, that he's not doing this well, because the notebook is super old, and he's just muttering to himself. So
yeah.
Fucking into the Zenari.
Yeah, she would try to help. Yeah, she would try to help.
Universe.
Oh my god.
Yeah, unless you can read Wolf's handwriting, which I think is pointless, you're better off just here. Have a sweet roll, and Play's gonna pass a sweet roll to Z.
Wolf is having a hard time reading Wolf's handwriting because this is from when he was a child. I think he'd say yeah, I used to know how to do this, but I'm a very bad student and did not take great notes.
Okay, you weren't the only bad student.
Lucky for you, I was pretty good. Let's see if we can figure this out.
Yeah, Master Caddock would have my hide if he knew that I'd forgotten how to do this. And he just starts. But he can make it mechanically, just in there.
As Zenari, you are helping Wolf fuss about with poultice ingredients. With the two remaining, which of you will join the group next?
I think Mitz kind of gets up not much longer after Z gets up. And he gets dressed, fluffs out his feathers a little bit. With the kind of floating around behind him, he heads off, sees Wolf and Z talking about herbs. He's like,
working with some very unstable herbs.
yeah. He immediately goes okay, and but the first thing he does, he's like, I need caffeine. I can't do this right now. So he goes over to the kitchen station, mixes up gets a mug of whatever's available, coffee or tea, heads on over.
There's a very strong black caffeinated tea on boil, and as you're moving towards the pot, you notice Nakale sitting next to it has a cup already brewed. It's just slow sipping from it.
Good morning. Mitz doesn't really have a hangover, but he definitely feels dehydrated. He's like, Good morning.
Good morning. Are the rest of you worse for wear?
Well, I mean, I'm mostly fine, but I need caffeine to deal with this.
Understandable, she says as she sips her own caffeine. She reaches for the pot and does pull it off the fire and pour you a nice solid mug and hand it over to you.
Thanks.
She cuts her eyes over to the table where she's been looking a bit over every now and then. I check on your friends if I were you.
Yes, I know. And Mitz downs half the cup, fills it back up, and walks over to where Wolf and Z are talking, and just
Trying to
immediately goes.
decipher his childhood chicken scratch.
Actually, the first thing he does is, Wolf, are you gonna miss any of these herbs?
Like, no, maybe I need to know what they are.
Cool. I think what Mitz is going to do
But
is
he's
going to actually just pick out a couple of the herbs that he recognizes from when his dad has like a small hangover, mix them up, dump them in his tea, and just down the whole thing.
Like, no, but I don't. But what are they called?
Mako, you walk into a slightly dejected Wolf looking at Mitz down a large cup of tea filled with herbs. How do you join the group?
I walk over and I bid them good morning. Somewhat drearily, as dreary as tired as a possessed suit of armor can be.
Wolf, you're like, I always appreciate that you decide to come and have breakfast with us, even though you don't eat. It's appreciated.
I do try to hold on to some semblance of a simpler time.
It's very fair.
Yeah. Well, he's gonna
Mitz-
slide Mitz a sweet roll and say, "Yeah, listen, I know they're working on herbs and stuff, but it's I wouldn't bother."
Mitz just takes a big of the sweet roll. Wonderful as always, Ploy. Then points to that cat herb that they've been trying to figure out the name of. He's like, and Mitzi's just gonna go, I believe that one's called Lion's Breath.
Lion's breath. And he looks at it like, yeah, unfortunately that's not the one I'm looking for. Damn. Goes to the next file.
As you're all working, you faintly, Wolf, you've noticed this, but before the rest of you all do, most likely, but you all do notice a pale purplish hand reach down across the table with a painted finger and just go, Purple Tail, White Swallow, God's Breath, Death's Head, and just begin naming them all one at a time. And as you pan your gaze up, Shaw Valen looks at you with a very, very smarmy look on her face.
Well, it's no fun if you just give us all the answers.
Happy to be of
I was
service.
like, no, give me all the answers. Keep writes those down very quickly.
Yeah, I was like, Wolf, make sure you take notes this time, legible notes.
And Mitz at this
My
point is also
handwriting has
gonna
improved a
You
lot.
did take
alright?
notes. That was the problem.
It's like you should probably also make sure to separate them properly. You don't want to mix some of Mitz is gonna take a what's clearly a medicinal herb and what's definitely a very poisonous herb and gently separate them.
You'll see Shaw grab from both of those piles, and in the other hand you hadn't looking, she has what appears to be kind of like an open, leaf. And she just kind of drops both of those in with whatever else she had in them already, folds it over, and then just licks the side of it and begins to seal it. Flicks her hand a bit, a small bit of fire lights it, and just... Oh, that's lovely.
I'm pretty sure we boiled a bunch of those to make bear tranquilizer. It was a lot more than you just took, but...
Love, when you age like me, you learn that you need the good stuff.
Wolf will do his best sketch of each of these herbs now that he can actually have them named and remember them. And yeah, he makes he can only really have one because he's not great at this yet, but he has one poultice that he can use to heal himself or others. He prepares it in a bandage that he has all set up, and then he just like has it folded so whenever he needs to, he can just apply it, add water, it's ready to go.
As you're all hanging out
Aha.
with each other, enjoying Wolf's new well-made poultice, and celebrating his achievements, you can all glance not far from you to see Mitz, where you saw Nakali sitting at kind of like around the teapot. Shaw joins her, pouring herself some tea while still smoking from the leaf she twisted, which she puffs out a bit of smoke, and you can't hear, but you can see Nakali very visibly get annoyed by it, and kind of bitch at her for a few bits before eventually she kind of gets up and just kind of struts her way over to, well, the group of you, and just plops herself down with her tea still. Just, good morning, all of you.
Morning again.
Morning. Smells the tea. Would be coffee in this country, would there be? Tea is fine, but
This is about the closest we can get to it. It's technically more caffeinated than coffee is.
It's more of a childhood thing. It's my favorite drink when it rarely came round.
Apologies for our lack of accommodation.
I don't often find it. It's not exactly the most common.
Could be worse.
Did you all?
Yeah, we still have this tea.
Did you all get some rest?
Yes.
Enough, yeah.
Yeah.
Sleep. Sleep is good.
Wolf also has some berries. He's just munching them.
We hadn't spoken much of it, but I sense you went through a great deal. I've been...
Yes. Some of us more than others.
Certainly, I can notice that your group appears to be one short.
Yeah. Yeah.
Only kind of.
I would a little bit appreciate it if people stop pointing it out. It's I think we all understand.
She just... Of course. Apologies. If there's anything that I can do or that you need from us, please, just let me know.
Ingolf would look around. It's like, actually, you know where Joshua is? I was going to... Wolf holds up a little poultice. He seemed like he would appreciate this sort of thing. He always seemed like someone who could use a hangover cure.
Her mood sours the tiniest bit. He's not around.
Not around.
He left almost as soon as you all got back with news.
Where did he
You know where he went?
go?
By all accounts, back towards Al-Sal.
That's... I guess understandable.
I have no true understanding of what he has planned, but I have an inkling, and it worries me some. I won't pretend to know the ways of the monks, but Joshua treading this path, it gives me pause.
Now, hold on a moment. Did you say monks?
It's a lot of fun. I mean...
Joshua will, well... I believe he intends to return to Al-Sal to gather his father's spirit. From there, he'll head to the temple you all just left from. I believe he intends to walk the path, as it were.
Why is it that always me and Joshua both end up doing the same thing and it's always the worst?
Because you're both idiots?
Yeah,
fair answer.
Yeah.
You know, she's not wrong.
Generally, I'm too occupied to join you in whatever this idiocy is. Generally.
Nonetheless, let's avoid talking about that for now. In the same way, certain of us would rather not speak about certain events, I don't think I'd like to talk about my fiancé, as it were.
Right.
He's been in a rather sour mood lately. I'm sure you understand why.
Of course.
Even I can't seem to bring him out of it. He just seems consumed lately.
Oh, I'll go knock some sense into him.
I certainly hope you can. Heavens know I've tried. Men
As
aside,
you say, my lady.
Hey.
Excuse?
Oh, apologies, Vince.
Man, in particular.
Cis men aside.
Hey.
Stop it. Let her finish. Only become offended if it's targeting you. It's fine.
An aside. Christ.
How are you all deciding what to do next? We are at a bit of a draw right now. Things are tepid and we're not sure what to do. If what you've talked about with Kali is true, then her plans are monumental. But I have no knowledge of what we can do to stop them.
It's
That
points
seems to
over
be
to
the
Z.
crux of it.
Brain cell.
Oh.
We just all turn and look at Z. What do you think?
I know Wolf would have a thing to say.
She's totally in a headspace to be making major decisions for everyone right now.
But I think that would be Wolf. Would he say? Well, that's the problem then, is we don't know. Where do we find out? You can't track a wolf without looking for tracks. You need to know where someone is and what they're doing.
Well, that's where I have at least some fortunate news. If you all don't mind me getting right into the business of things.
By all means, Wolf sweeps all the herbs he's not using now.
Go right on ahead.
She does draw. She does draw from her pack just a scroll and unrolls a sort of generalized map of Zor'aa. Scouts have been moving around what we can of her territory, trying to find, well, her, for lack of better terms. We've not found much, but just a few, well, hours ago, by all means, I received a report. Kali's been temple diving. Now, what in all the heavens she could be looking for, I don't know. My first guess...
Our business.
Certainly. But my first guess, besides just taking revenue from you all, would be... she's either... Well, she either doesn't know that gem is under the tower, or she doesn't care.
Didn't Soren mention something about taking souls for power?
I mean, yes, that's essentially the technique that he used to make his weapon more powerful. It's kind of like perversing the original use of, just putting one soul in the blade. Instead, put many.
And another thing,
Souls.
weren't at least a lot of the older temples and tombs, don't they bury those with those mummy things that you remember, Ploy, right? Your javelin, your mummy javelin.
Yeah.
They picked one up and used it to fight another one. That was quite fun.
It was.
Yeah. And their souls are in the mummies, as far as we were able to decipher from the runes. So if she kills a bunch of those mummies and takes those souls,
That does raise a point. An influx of that
I'm
kind.
worried about the Guardians.
An influx of that kind through the other realm would certainly alert anyone attuned to the realm of death as such. Not to point fingers, but have you heard anything amiss amongst Shayada's realm, Zenari?
Regarding the mummies, like regarding any disturbances of souls, I haven't.
Well,
We have been quite busy.
I'm not certain how or if you can speak with her, but if you do next, mayhap inquire about that. I do have a thought, though. It's a bit far-fetched, but if Kali is trying to empower her weapon with more souls, mayhap she is intending to gather, or at least fully imbue, all the souls she's been having her troops slaughter into her weapon. It's just a theory, and I don't have any reason to believe it's true or not, but, well, plenty of the temples all around Zor'aa are nexuses of, well, burial. Places where the veil between life and death becomes thin somewhat. Any one of those, if sufficiently powerful enough, could serve as, well, the basis by which she achieves some sort of ceremony to empower herself or her weapon.
Like the
Is
blood
that thought?
gems, right?
Similar,
Yeah,
yes.
that makes sense.
I don't think Kali has any knowledge of how they're made. The Emir were pretty close-lipped with those kind of things. But if she understood the basics, or moreover, if someone she was allied with did,
You'd be surprised how often people tell very specific and very secret things in front of someone they think is an idiot.
I can
Wolf says
believe
with a
that.
big smile.
that asshole, I don't remember his
Doesn't
name.
matter. He's dead now.
Darlene.
Yeah.
But yes, that guy.
It's always his fault,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Fucking
Mm.
Dragon.
Yeah, but didn't he treat
Sadly,
What's-
the dead Emir no longer narrows it down.
yeah, but didn't he
significantly.
treat
Ooh.
what's that guy's name? Handtake Steel? The sorcerer.
Mhm.
The super strong one. Didn't he treat him kinda like a well,
A hand rag? Yes.
A chew toy? Mm-hmm.
yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe and that chew toy
Happens to be a very powerful sorcerer.
happens to be a very powerful sorcerer and also knew about the blood gems.
You
As far
think
as we
he
know.
told Kali.
Or he could be the one performing the ceremony.
Very possibly, considering we saw one in All Saul.
Indeed.
Mm-hmm.
And that fireball was incredibly
A lot.
powerful.
Her face gets a bit haunted. I remember.
Is there a way that we can cut off that power? It is some kind of necromancy. It is definitely a spell matrix.
I must be honest, I'm not certain. This falls very far outside of the realm of my knowledge. We are dealing in matters of gods and souls now, not simply wars and soldiers.
Mm.
I'm
And that
with
means
you.
that every soul that falls is going to be another one for Kali.
Indeed. The only thing that I can think of right now would be to, well, try and flush her out. Mount an attack somewhere and see if that doesn't help but draw something out of her. Our forces are thin, but we can pull off something, perhaps.
Perhaps we should wait a bit? It seems that every conflict that we get into is only going to increase Kali's strength.
A
I
sound
don't see how
judgment.
waiting helps, though.
That's true.
Also true.
She's also just she'll probably just go around ransacking villages too. Let's it's a lose-lose situation here, but one of these.
Wolf perks up a little. Well, we already maybe want to check the bottom of the tower, right? We heard there may be a weapon there, and we should at least know if she has the gem there or not already. And it's already full of her people. So if she needs to be at least close to people's souls when they dive to collect them, perhaps we can try and do something to draw her towards where her own people are, ones that she's going to be less inclined to kill for power.
Or convert them over to our cause.
Yes, and she seemed to be at least a little interested in me. Wolf's a little like.
Gonna be okay with that, Wolf? She kind of I don't really get this kind of stuff, but like it's very uncomfortable.
Trust me, even everyone else doesn't quite understand this. You're not behind the curve on that one. She's quite odd. But
what do you mean?
Perhaps we draw her. It's a little more than that. I feel like she also wants to murder me at the same time, and I don't understand how those two things happen at once. But
so she wants to murder fuck you. You can see her.
Apparently, I'm behind the curve. All right.
You can see her like look faintly off, like she's thinking about somebody else. Just, I get the feeling.
But but point being, what if we tried to get the thing out of the tower and therefore draw her gaze there, maybe draw her there? Yeah. Or at least hope that she takes the bait. She doesn't have to go to the tower if I show up there, but that'll at least distract her.
You see her crunch some numbers in her head and just begin to think for a while. Just, yes, perhaps we could mount some sort of attack on the tower. We don't have the manpower for an out-and-out assault on it, but a raid of some kind, with the express goal of getting the gem and getting out, not taking it over, and I guess freeing whoever we can in the process. It might just work. I will need time to think on this. Not long, maybe a day or so. But allow me to put some plans in place and we'll go forward with this. Oh my, I've just been under so much stress lately.
Take some time.
Yeah, it's
Do
been
something fun.
Something fun.
A sweet roll?
Certainly, why not? She'll take it and just kind of take a bite, just another bite and another, just, oh boy, these are marvelous. And just finish the rest of one, just something fun. Yes. Wolf. I assume you'll be trying to find our local demigod for your afternoonly spars?
That would be a good idea, yeah.
I have poor news for you. He's sleeping.
Well, it's morning. I was gonna wait for afternoon, but sure.
Oh, that's the thing. Tapping into, well, godlike powers like his that aren't of his natural flesh, it tuckers the poor thing out. He'll be asleep for at least another 24. However, if you found yourself needing a sparring partner for the afternoon, I might oblige.
Wolf does have like a bit of a pause. It's like, if you would, my lady.
I wouldn't mind blowing off the steam. And he looks around. You all, you mind to show?
Sure.
Ploy. How do you make?
admit I'm intrigued.
Can we make popcorn?
What's
You would
that?
need corn.
What's corn?
It's. Do you guys import any maize
What's
from
pop?
the jungles?
No, it doesn't. Is it a plant?
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
it's a staple back where I live. Shit, crap. Maybe
Anyways.
don't import it all the way over here. But if you heat it up and with some butter and add a little bit of salt, it like explodes and it makes little fluffy stuff that's very tasty.
Edible explosions.
Wolf is sitting here like, this is the most fascinating explanation I've ever heard.
Nikali looks very confused, but does say, the Emirs did used to take an import of rare exotic foods from other lands. We've stolen our handful of it. Check the kitchens. When you're ready, come along with me.
Maybe they have cocoa.
No. Wolf is just gonna stretch and get prepared. Just, all right.
Mitz, you and Ploy make your way over to the food stockpiles. And after a few minutes of searching, where you're maybe close to just giving up on this whole popcorn idea, you crack open a crate, and what do you know? Yeah, you find a row or two of maize in this box. It's not stale yet,
Billy
but
maize.
decently ripe enough that you could probably make something decent out of it. How do you plan on heating it up?
What Mitz is gonna do is it's like, okay, now where's the widest pan that he can find?
There's some pretty decently sized pans in the kitchen around.
All right, so he's just gonna take one off, gonna turn on the stove, plop it down, like put a generous amount of butter, like slather it on the bottom of the pan, and just toss the maize in.
Yeah.
Sprinkle a bit of salt, put a little bit of put a little bit of grab some extra seasonings, and be like, that's a little adventurous. We'll keep it plain. Puts it back.
And after a moment of the heat being applied to this mixture of maize and butter and salt and spices, Ploy, you watch as these maize kernels just slowly start to pop a bit and explode into these bursts of puffy fluff. It's almost amazing. You've never seen it before, but one by one, like mini fireworks, they start just going off one at a time.
Oh, fuck, this reminds me of all those gunshots.
Oh,
Why do they call it popcorn?
yeah. Is this too soon? I think maybe actually, and it's gonna like grab another container of the maize.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, should we do this outside? Like, I think this is almost Nah, Nikali and Wolf's fight's gonna be even more of a spectacle. Let's leave it.
Also
So
a bit late for that.
true.
Already started.
Not quite yet.
Also, is there any cacao beans in the?
Are there?
Oh, you want I have chocolate.
Gonna
I always
make-
keep chocolate.
There you go.
You're gonna make pop cacao?
I mean, come on. Who do you think you're talking to?
And it's like, well, making well, if we have regular chocolate, then Mitz is gonna be like, okay, we can do this with chocolate too. And he's gonna just melt some chocolate on top and just pour it on top of the popcorn. Otherwise, like Mitz was thinking of well, we could make some spicy cocoa.
All right, okay, enough. Jesus fucking Christ. so after several...
It's like
Welcome to
No,
the
here I
Seven
go,
Sons cookie.
starting to eat again on
Right,
stream.
Jesus fucking
Yeah.
Christ, relax. God. All right, so after you return to the group with several basket things of this new treat called popcorn you've all barely ever heard of various flavors and assortments, Nikali is like, huh, impressive. She just take one, just,
Call them edible gunshots.
Well, they're called popcorn. Whatever.
No.
edible
Wait.
gunshot.
Edible. I mean, they do kind of sound like gunshots, actually. Now that I think about it.
And if you remember, those Hoshari guns, that puff that comes out the front of the gun looks just like it.
I see the point. Nonetheless, come with me, please. Nikali moves you all through the halls of the base, as it were, eventually ending up in sort of the command den that you've all been in more than once when talking to her and Shah and the rest. She goes to a wall, though, and kind of impresses her hand into it a bit, and part of this sort of a carving of this cave wall just presses itself in and then slides to the side, opening up a new passageway you all never noticed there. She walks in, and you all follow behind her and join her. And you find yourselves going down some stairs. It's a long trip down some stairs. But as you crest under a large archway, you find yourselves in this deep underground room. The ceiling maybe 40, 50 feet in the air. The ground cut into even square lines and 4 pillars in either corner. Just, welcome to where I do my thinking.
This is so cool! Mitz is going to drag Z and like look around the entire room for like is like more ruins.
Oh yeah, it's easy for you to tell. It's easy for you both to tell. This was not made by the Storm Children. This was here when they got here, no question. And as you're wondering, wandering around looking to see what the hell this place was when it was a thing, Nikali moves towards the middle of the ring, as it were, gestures towards Wolf. Come on then, get comfy.
Is she like stancing up? Sorry, I missed
Not
that.
yet. She mostly just kind of
Okay.
move towards the ring.
Yeah,
Before
okay.
I get in the ring, obviously.
Yeah, he'd step in, sort of just test the ground and sort of the area around it. Check like any of the sort of posts that mark the edge of it, just how sturdy they are, stuff like that.
Solid stone.
Yes. You know, back home we had a arena like this, not as sturdy, that we often used for contests in the middle of town.
I had a feeling you'd find it
That is-
homely. You watch as, while she was previously dressed in like sort of like half of her battle armor and sort of half of her more ornate robes, you see her unclip one shoulder pad, which drops to the ground in a heavy metal clunk, and then the other, and then she kind of just brings that her robe up over her and tosses it to the side. She's like a chest binding, kind of tightly wrapping her delicacies and such things. But her form is, well, it's firm and lithe, but muscled. And she kind of just cracks her neck a bit, just, I do not do this enough. All right, let's see you dance, pretty boy. And she takes what can only be described as a boxer stance.
Yeah, I think Wolf just sort of smiles, and I don't think he takes the gauntlets off except to like show them to someone.
Mhm.
They're just kind of like always on because they're just very comfortable and calming to him. So it's just not exactly the same kind of stance. He actually leaves his hands sort of open and lurched forward a bit, and then you do see like before it starts that he does shift a bit, just like the sort of skin on him and the gets just thicker and more durable as he just does a regular shift.
See, do I need to put up a wall of force?
Feels like a
I
splash
didn't think
screen.
that-
Like, yeah, maybe.
What is that?
So,
What?
Yeah, that was weird. I don't know why that
so
didn't
while
do
they're
anything.
doing that, just before we get too into this, so I rolled sleight of hand.
Uh-huh.
Mako is going to attempt to steal some popcorn from Mitz's bowl and see if the baby boy whale, who does not yet have an official name, would like any, or would eat it.
Yeah, I'd say you do so pretty simply. You kind of just slink your hand over, pick up one or two, and like it circles your head for a bit, but then kind of like on one pass through, kind of just like, and then on another pass through, just leans down and picks one up, and then on the third pass through, just kind of stops hovering over your hand, and just starts like kind of eating them out of your hand for a bit.
Aww.
This is very good.
Okay.
Nikali inclines her head a bit.
If I make several more sleight of hand checks over the course of this fight, don't pay any mind to it.
Yeah.
It's okay,
But why
but
don't
you're
you just
distracted by
ask?
ruins!
Nikali.
Amazing.
So before that, Zanari and Mitz, as you are going around and looking at this place, this location you're currently in, the high and rough walls of the cavern make you feel like this place was never really meant to be visited by many people. It was some sort of internal sanctum to whatever this ruin was. The posts, however, where the kind of mark the edge of the ring, those intrigue you by their kind of like design and shape, the way they're kind of angled into points rather than going all the way up to the ceiling. And you recognize that at some point this probably was some kind of sacrificial chamber.
Okay.
In fact, you're pretty certain those lines in the floor, although they are perfectly cut squares, are meant to catch the blood of offerings and run it into like a trough on either side.
Yeah.
Nikali looks at you, Wolf, throws her head back in her boxer stance. Ladies first.
Wolf smiles at that, and then he's gonna rage shift and attempt a tripping attack right off the bat. And I think he's doing claws. He's like, nah, more aggressive this time.
Go for it.
Wall of force around the arena.
The attack itself hits.
I think-
What's the DC for the trip?
15 strength save.
Oh yeah, she's fine.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's not super high because
Yeah. So you come at her, your claws come around and like do catch her a bit. She steps back. As you go to trip her though, she just kind of brings her foot up, and as she kind of brings that foot up, Wolf, is a 21 hit you?
21.
yes, it does.
So yeah, as you see her bring her foot up, as you kind of swipe to go low to her, you are not quick enough to react to just her foot just lashing out and catching you right in the nose with a quick kick. It only does like 5 damage, so it's not like too bad. You kind of just like more get like kind of a bit more dazed by it as you kind of step back a bit to kind of like rub your nose. As you kind of rub your nose and clear your vision, she just has this shittiest smirk on her face. Just gotta be quicker than that, and lowers her foot back down.
I mean, I do have 2 more attacks that I just keep going at her, but yeah.
Oh no! Please continue going.
Oof. Yeah, without being prone though, he's gonna reckless attack because she didn't fall over. He's like, nah, I need to get this advantage, and then second one.
Yep. So you come out, and like as you kind of come in closer again, she kind of takes initiative and tries to like attack you with kind of like her elbow. You slide under that and kind of like catch her in the rib. She takes the hit back, coughs a bit, steps back. You come up again, another uppercut hit. She kind of brings her arms up and catches it on the arm, but it still definitely does a good impact to her. You almost see it like lift her a little bit. She kind of comes back down, pushes you back a bit, reassesses her stance. Just, you know, don't think we've talked much, Wolf.
Yes, that's true.
She comes.
It seems that you always have much to do. Yeah, I know. As she's coming, he'd still be. It seems like you're always very busy.
Yeah, she comes at you, and starts off with just like a very quick series of like jabs at you, as does a 19 count as a hit.
Yeah.
So yeah, just the first few jabs are kind of just like light testing blows, kind of like get a sense of like your guard. But eventually, she's like, yeah, and she ducks under one of your dodges, and then kind of comes in, and one just clocks you right in the lower jaw, just boom, busy and stressed. And then she kind of ducks again, and this time, rather than kind of like coming for a punch, you see her come down on her hands and lash out with her lower legs in like a scorpion kick up towards your head. But, off the table again. Does a 18 hit you?
I believe meets it, beats it. So
Yep.
yeah.
So yeah, it's not intense, but like the kick kind of comes up. You bring your arms up in time to kind of like catch the worst of her clawed feet kind of coming at you. But the hit does still throw you back some as she kind of completes that full cartwheel and comes up to stand again, almost balancing a bit on her tail. Just, all right, come on.
I think actually in response to that, Wolf is like, all right. Like he's been testing, so he's actually going to do his whole turn to technically rage again so that he can switch which weapon he has, and then as the rest of his turn, go full werewolf. So now he does have the tail and still big claws.
Mm.
But that's like a whole turn. He's like, okay.
She raises
And
an
then more
eyebrow.
muddled.
Huh. All right then. And she kind of settles back into her stance, kind of bouncing a bit back and forth on her heels. You see her kind of come in again and start kind of like trying to like take testing attack at your guard. She's at this point kind of being a bit more mobile, trying to move around you. Does oof. I'm gonna assume a 13 does not hit.
Oh yeah. I mean, I have to choose before I know, but so yeah, for the rest of the turn, I have a +8 to my AC, so definitely not.
She comes around with a kick, and like your tail kind of comes up and like blocks it, and she's just, damn, steps back. Just, you know, the difference between leading and fighting always tends to be how much I get my hands dirty. And she kind of starts coming back in. At this point, she actually comes under you and tries to grip you by the leg. And you can feel she tries to literally lift you up. Wolf, roll athletics for me. Oof. Poor roll on her part.
26.
Yeah, poor roll on her part. She does get you a bit off of your feet and like tries to kind of bring you down on your side, but you're able to bring your arm out fast enough to kind of like catch yourself and kind of just roll and like throw her almost with your legs. She takes the throw and kind of goes flying a bit, but kind of like skids a bit. Just. You know, my troops are all busy. My enemy has me beat, and my boyfriend won't talk to me. How have you all been?
Wolf in his sort of garbled wolf face comment is, well, I don't think you've been beaten. You've just had a swap of enemies. As he comes at her. You were fighting the Emir, and this is like as he is acting, and now you're fighting Kali. As far as I'm concerned, you've outlasted one enemy and have found a second. That to me feels like victory.
And Wolf,
but yeah, it's gonna be just
perfect, yeah. So Wolf, your first swing, actually kind of like misses. She kind of like ducks under that, but you kind of sweep under her and get a really good hit to the point where you're almost worried you might have hurt her a bit harder than you think you did. Just like you can all hear that reverberating smack of flesh on flesh as like his fist just meets her face. She kind of comes around and spins, and as she spins all the way around, Wolf, you see her fist coming for your face, glowing yellow.
Oh dear.
And she just, I dropped my die. There it is. The dice always know. She crits.
Of course she does.
So, yeah, she just comes around with this golden fist and slugs you as hard as she can in the face. You kind of just immediately feel like that dazing, blinding light for a second. And as you kind of shake yourself out of it, assuming she's going to press the assault because she just literally got you off your guard, you're all watching as Kali's just staring at her hand for a second. Huh. That felt different.
Wolf does the dog cocked head thing.
I am more than used to channeling Kaltora, but that felt strained. Huh. Oh no. Oh no. Upstairs, command deck, now. All of you, move. I'll be there shortly. And she takes off down a corridor separately from where you all came down from, I guess,
No.
So is it time to panic, or does that come later?
Wolf fully unshifted. I get an
Yeah.
inkling feeling it's time to panic.
Yeah, we're just gonna go. We're just yep.
Yeah, Wolf's already going. Like, yeah, let's. This doesn't feel good.
Panic. Panic. Well, actually, like, Mitz is trying not to. Is like, that's not good. Question mark.
You
Channeling deities.
all.
Hmm. Like Mitz, like if everybody else is panicking, Mitz is gonna like follow from from behind. I guess is just kind of like
Yeah.
thinking.
You all make it upstairs to the command deck to find Temin already there with this large, well, it's almost like a massive cauldron-sized ball of pure crystal on the table in front of her. And she looks panicked, but also looks
That's not.
a little confused as to why you're all running. Just like, what? There's no way you all know about this.
Depends on what this is.
You're right. Can you talk about it?
As you say that, Nakali comes from behind you. She is redressed in, well, what aren't her normal kind of ornate noble's robes, but are a very, very nicely hewn set of, well, priestess's robes, complete with a necklace of beads that seem to resemble her faith in Kaltora, which she is clutching very tight to her as she runs up towards the group. Give me 1 second as I drop something in the Discord. 1 second, sorry. So, as you are all watching Nakali run up, she's like, I think I know where Kali's going. She just starts rambling, just, there's a temple, not far from here actually, just south. It's a nexus point, where faith in the gods and the lines between our realm and the realm of the divine are thinned. I traveled there in my youth, I studied there, I gained my connection to Kaltora there. If she goes there and sacrifices souls there, she could... God, Temin looks... well, still shocked, but slowly just tilts her head a bit, just... You were not that far off, priestess. I already know where she went. And what she did. All the souls, all those people, she did not place them in her weapon. She did not funnel them through the beyond into her own power. You all need to see this. I don't believe I've seen it in all my centuries before.
Panic. Panic time.
Yeah.
Wolf's just gonna look in the bowl. He's like, oh.
You all gather around the ball, and what you see is, well, it's hard to make sense of at first. It's an open field in front of a dune-laden temple. Sand and flame still licking corners of the structure. It's a battlefield, you think. An endless strewn wasteland, as far as you can see in any direction. Pockmarked and cratered, like explosions, and something tore through this, like a natural disaster ripped this portion of Zor'aa apart. But where are the soldiers? Where are the men? Where are the bodies? And then you see them. The bodies, that is. Not the endless mountain pile of corpse dead you'd expect in the aftermath of warfare. Not the strewn-laden paths of corpses. Mako, you've seen this place before in your vision. This battlefield before was where all your friends died. But there are no bodies here, and there were bodies in your vision. There, in your vision, there were thousands of dead. Here, in this strewn subcontinent of chaos, there are only two corpses. The first is a creature, a large thing that looks as if at one point it was meant to be born aloft in the air. It is feathered and great-winged. Its head, eagle-like, is split into two. Two faces. A two-headed rock. A god beast. And it is dead. And at its side, next to it, another corpse. Not a beast, but a warrior. A warrior in golden armor. A spear shining like a newborn sun, rapidly dimming as it sits in his dying hand. A god. These two titans of creation, these two earth things, sit amidst this battlefield, slowly decaying and entropying away as even beings on this scale must. And atop the ruined peak, staring down at the laid low corpses of god and god beast, a single figure holds a naginata, a lit in bright red flame, as she smiles a sickening, twisted smirk. And as she does this, Nikali and Mako, for very obviously different reasons, but in the same instance, you both black out. And I hate to do cliffhangers, but believe it or not, darlings, that's where we're ending today.
You don't hate to do
I'm
cliffhangers.
What are you talking about? What are you
You
talking
liar.
about?
Oh, I know.
I hate to do cliffhangers.
All right,
Same
fine.
way you
just-
don't want emotional episodes.
All right, fine.
Yeah.
Just call me the fuck out, I guess. Whatever.
Yeah.
So, what are we thinking?
That's it.
Folks gonna have
Guys,
to punch somebody real hard.
We better
I-
fucking stop her.
I started this episode with a bunch of question marks. Now it's just A's. It's just
We transitioned just halfway between stream. We go from question mark to just
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
It's like, we were thinking about killing gods and god beasts, but I guess Kali beat us to the punch line.
A little bit.
Yeah. So if y'all haven't noticed, that marks the 2/3 point. From here on out, we are entering into what effectively accounts to the home stretch of Seven Suns.
Wow.
Everything
Imagine
will,
that.
Everything will begin coming to a head from here.
It's all downhill from here.
I don't know about
It's all-
downhill,
yep.
but it's shit. I don't know about downhill, but it's going from somewhere.
Well, how else
It's
do you
an
expect us to
avalanche.
gain momentum?
It's
That's
an
it.
avalanche.
Attack from the high ground. Use your momentum. Ah.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, Kali has clearly slain a god beast and a god. Which god and which god beast? Well, figure that out, I guess.
If it was covered in golden armor, it's
I
not one
mean,
of our friends. It's
Gonna
fine.
poke up, gonna point over at Nikali, who probably is you know,
Oh,
like,
didn't think about that. That's not good.
I was
Yeah.
kind of like,
Mhm.
I forgot just died. That's not
Great.
great.
Somebody got it.
I mean, but where's that divinity gonna go now? It's finite.
We
Who's it gonna go to?
steal it.
Or
You know,
Obviously,
it's free
Nikali
real
just needs to
estate.
be the most paladin of her order and get all of it. If we have to pull off the one and like get rid of all the other paladins so that she gets more power, we'll do that.
We're gonna
Might happen.
turn this campaign into a paladin murder spree. We're gonna make our friend God. Shut up. Don't worry about it.
This is
Well, I mean,
classic.
we already made three people.
That's the new
Gods.
campaign. Make everybody a god. That's the goal.
Yep. That is the goal.
Clearly.
So I guess I just wanna quickly tap in. Does everyone feel like they had weight held today? And please, I know we're still on stream, but be honest with me.
Yeah.
Yeah, Wolf felt like he maybe took. I feel like I maybe took a little more space. But if everyone else is fine with it, then it's fine.
This
We
is
could have
yeah.
maybe
It's good.
handed Mako some stuff.
Like, I don't know. I'm just gonna cry every episode now.
That's
I
fair.
can't.
Oh yeah.
I will admit,
Fine.
if there's one person I feel I didn't give enough love to this session, it was definitely Mako. But if you couldn't tell, it's kind of because I do
Well, it
have.
sounds like I'll be starting off strong in the next
Mhm.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is why I didn't feel as bad about it, because I was like, I got some stuff planned for my guy.
Get ready for
my
that dream
G,
sequence.
For my boy. So yeah, we'll
Your G, which stands for ghost.
It stands for gonna get some plot. In any case, I know we're obviously a little early from our
Plot.
literal usual end time, but I wanted to give a lot of time for us to, well, one, just like kind of on stream decompress is a thing that I've been wanting to do more with my sessions, and also just like as I play out more, I'm finding the 3.5 hour session to be kind of like my comfort zone. Like,
Yeah.
there are some days where 4 hours is just a slog, where you're like, oh god, I'm at hour 3.
Definitely.
I can't push through for another hour. So I'm kind of starting to try out these more like 3.5 hour sessions with like a bit of time for like an on stream kind of wrap up, time for us to kind of like send ourselves off and things. We also have at least a couple of announcements to make in the aftermath of this, of when we start talking about, our wrap up and our breakdown. So we want to save some time for that. But I guess just real quick as I, get the music back on, anyone feeling like there's anything they want to share about like thoughts around today's session or around the campaign or around each other, or I don't know, just general around the horn thoughts anybody want to share?
Plot twist.
Plot twist.
Plot twist.
Plot twist.
I appreciate that Kali is enacting plans when we're not actively involved, because like it's like that thing that happens a lot in video games. Where like, I have no need to hurry. We're on video game time.
Exactly. It's like, oh, this is just a side quest. I
That's
can
when
just
you
leave
don't
it.
experience that. Yeah.
Yeah. Let me just go clear all the side quests and then go do the main quest. It's like, oh, these things have happened.
Yeah, that
Oh
was
no,
sorta,
things happen.
That's one thing I've been notoriously actually pretty bad at for campaigns, is having my enemies still be active and processing in the world while my players are doing like separate things. So it's something I've been trying to make sure I carry through a bit more in this campaign. It's just like be very much like, hey, no, she's still out there doing shit. Y'all should probably start figuring that out.
Right.
Yeah, it's hard. It's a really hard thing to do as a GM. Like, I think that's like a thing that most GMs struggle with.
Yeah, it's definitely a little difficult, but I hope it's translating well enough that like you guys still feel like a sense of urgency, but also still feel like you have the agency to do the things you want to do, because that still matters like a fuck ton to me,
Mm-hmm.
I will say, I appreciate that. I'm just gonna lay out all the cards on the table. Any and all prep I did for the session happened about 2 hours before the session went live. And there was very little of it, if you couldn't tell by how little rolling or map movement or travel or things happened. But it's very, very enjoyable that I can just kind of like write like a lot of the scenes I have planned for today. I just wrote out a sentence or two on like, literally, I just said, Zanari talks to Shayara. She reveals the truth, like the truth of her plan. That's all I wrote for prep for this. So the fact that that scene got to play out very organically and very, very like in with more depth than I even thought to give it in my planning is just testament to how good of the players like you all are. Same deal with like Ploy, the scene with like you and the animals and like with Durga. I had sort of in my notes said like I want a scene where Ploy sees certain animals in Zor'aa doing their thing and that kind of encourages him to learn the way of the Bladed Soul. But the idea of like Durga being the person that kind of like pushes that to you and thus it being like a thing that like is like kind of like more about net, all that kind of happened organically as the scene was playing out, and I kind of loved the reactions you were giving to me as I was kind of pitching all that at you, you know?
On time.
Yeah, I mean, overall, I really enjoy the way you all continue to play off each other really well, and like, similarly, like, again, like talking about like last night, heck, you and I played a one shot over on TPK like with Meg and such, and we talked about with Meg and Vermin, we talked about how like while Meg was like the GM, it felt very much like she kind of just felt like that fourth player role. Today, almost more than any other session, I felt like the sixth player, you know? Like, I was kind of just here with y'all in it, you know? And I don't know. I guess, like, anxiety is a huge thing around this campaign, I feel, where I'm always just like, oh, man, I hope I'm delivering all the things that I want to deliver for my friends here. And so, it's always fun to kind of talk about where I'm at with this campaign as we're working our way towards a conclusion. But I've ranted enough, so if there are any closing thoughts, please feel free to share them.
I mean, like, totally going off of that, like, something that I really like about tables like this is, like, I never really have to worry about someone I am having a conversation with through roleplay knowing where and when to fill in the blanks. Like, at least, like, you know, with our conversation today, I was like, I know Z's not gonna finish that sentence of that would mean, and I hope, like, with my tone, I can convey that, so then, you know, Shira is going to just reply and fill in that blank, and that happened there, which I was like, fuck yeah, and it's like, yeah, I don't often ever have to worry about that kind of thing with tables like this, and it was the same with yesterday, too. It was just like, just big props to just kind of everybody around for just kind of knowing where those conversational beats are.
Legit, moments like that are, like, speaking as a GM I have had several moments like that. Several of them have happened in this campaign with individuals of you, whether it was, like, this today with UZ, with Myth and talking to Amotep and her having to say his name. Like, there were several moments in this campaign where I was like, I want this reveal to be on you guys. Like, it's kind of like it's just throwing the ball and hoping the person catches it, and like it's always sort of one of the scariest things about like this. And I will say this table has almost never failed to like complete the catch. Where I'm just like I'm gonna throw this and hope to God we don't just like sit here awkwardly for 5 minutes while the player goes and like that's never really happened. I don't feel like, you know, like. So that's nice. That's always helpful to have.
I like how I can bullshit something, and everyone will just run with it.
Yeah. I didn't expect popcorn to become a diatribe we had here.
Like, dude, every other session we have like an entire food section.
We do.
Seven Sons, feelings
And that's
and food.
okay.
That's Seven Sons for you. We got feelings, we got food.
Yeah.
You get those two things.
It's emotional
At some
drama and
point-
good food.
At some point, we'll come out with a Seven Sons cookbook.
Yo, actually,
Yeah.
we'll talk about it. We'll put it in the next org meeting, all right? But write it
yeah,
down.
yeah. Seven Sons cookbook.
Fair enough. Listen, I honestly am just a big fan of that. Yeah, I don't know if there's nothing else to like kind of like close out on. I guess we start going around the horn one last time. I know a few of us have some important things to plug. Feel free to plug them lightly. I know things that are important that are coming up like right very soon. Let's save and announce those fully after we go around the horn completely. So let's go around the horn first, and in the same order I called you in, let us first hear from our dear Land the Dan.
Hi, I'm Land the Dan. I played Mako Sky, the floating possessed suit of armor, accompanied by my newfound baby bloat whale companion,
Your son.
who is not officially named yet, but I have some ideas for.
I vote popcorn. I vote popcorn.
Bloaty McBloat face.
Fucking popcorn. God damn it.
Popcorn's a good one.
You can, if for some reason you want to see more of me, I'm in another campaign on this channel, which we'll talk about momentarily. And I also have a Twitter, which you can follow at LandTheDan.
Word.
Also, I realized I forgot to actually introduce myself at the start of the campaign. I just said, hi, I'm Mako.
You just Mako. It's fine.
You're just fully in character already. There you go. In any case,
Yes.
up next on the chopping block, please go ahead and tell people who you've been today, Michelle.
Hi, I'm Michelle. I am hopefully not going to actually be on a chopping block. Hopefully.
Never
We'll talk about
It's
that.
a cheap and chippy chopper. I need to fix that still.
I placed my I don't social media, but I played Mitts. Our not our wizard folk. Our koala folk. I almost said wizard folk yet, okay? Shush.
We're gonna get old.
Shush. Our koala folk wizard. You can find me here, also the same thing that Dan was gonna talk about. But otherwise you can find me most likely in 3 weeks on our Blades Will Steel. So catch me there.
Coalition of Steel is back, and the plot begins to thicken.
We have plans.
Indeed.
There will be plans within plans within maybe not that many plans.
But we can calm down on
Plans on plans.
Well, besides plans, let us move on to talking to our dear friend, Lucian.
Hey, I'm Lucian. I played Ploy, our friendly lizard folk that likes to throw things. You can find me not on my Twitter, and rarely on my Twitch, and sometimes in the Discord.
Occasionally, if he feels like it. Well, that next brings us over to Sir Heckalot.
Hey, it's me, Sir Heckalot. You know,
You do know.
you can find me on all the social medias, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, and Itch at Sir Heckalot. I played Z, our Kalashtar College of Spirits bard, who has a lot of feelings.
Hey, you're gonna be a widow
it's
soon,
fine.
sorry.
Yeah,
Not if we
this
can
is
help
where
it.
you'll find me next. I'm here every other week, of course, for Seven Suns. This next month, and TPK is going to be insane. Tomorrow, you can see me on The Zone. It's a very high improv game. But then for the next 3 weeks, I will be in at least 2 streams. So, be ready to see me a lot.
Call that a
That's
triple
about
double.
it. Yeah, it's a lot.
This is Sir Heck triple double. We're here for it.
Yeah, that's about it. It's the month of heck, I guess. I really like October. Okay,
Heck season.
it's heck season.
Hecktober.
Hecktober. Yes. In
Hecktober.
unison. That was
Here
amazing.
for it. Ship it. Put it on a shirt.
Very good.
That's about it. I'm pretty active on social media, so you can usually find what I'm doing on there pretty easily. But yeah, let's move it on over. Hey.
Do it, Tate.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Tate Washburn. I've been playing Wolf today. It's been very fun. You can find me on Twitter at kinda_writing. I really got to get myself an itch, but then I actually did have to make any of
You
the
have to
tabletop
actually
games
make
stuff I
games.
make. Like I have like 2 just smallish ones.
Oh,
I just would actually have to make them presentable. And
Oh, if you need help with layout, let me know.
it's not the help. It's I gotta just do it. I just don't want to do it. Anyways, but yeah, do we want to? I'll let Foxxii announce himself first, and then we'll get into big announcement stuff. But yeah, you can find me on all sorts of stuff around here, and then you should also definitely follow our Twitter here at Neon Lights Roleplay, because that's where we actually announce cool stuff and give updates, and generally is funnier than me because Dan runs it. So you know.
Speaking of cool stuff, what's going on, folks? I'm Young Foxxii, aka Big Foxxii, also known as your current and only favorite fox. If you want to find me out there, I am on the Twitter sphere at BIG_FOXXII. I don't go on right wingers. I slay fascists. It's a good time. Come hang out. We got a lot of shit going on here. I'll start with the personal stuff, get it out of the way. Obviously, you'll catch me Monday back on Critical Misses, because we're doing Mondays from now on. We're doing Tuesdays now, so catch me Tuesday over on Critical Misses for Forest and Flame. Last session was a lot. If you haven't seen the VOD, definitely go watch it. It was a lot. So that happened, and we're back for that. I'm also over on TBK Roleplay next Friday for the mid-season finale of Cold Hands, Warm Hearts. We're going to fight a dragon and hopefully save the 8.5 towns, formerly the 10 towns.
You're actually fighting a dragon in Dungeons and Dragons?
Yeah, a Sardalin dragon, no less. So that's going to be fun.
Imagine that.
Hang out for that. We're recording Core Hearts episode 4 next Saturday, so stay tight for that, hopefully. A lot of other cool stuff coming up. But I will stop avoiding the elephant in the room. You all in chat and on the Discord and wherever you are on the internet need to stop whatever the fuck you're doing. Hire a babysitter. Call out of work. Cancel your plans with your friends. Dump your boyfriend or whatever. Whatever you gotta do to clear your schedule. Because tomorrow at 2 p.m. you need to be locked right here at twitch.tv/Neon Lights Roleplay for the finale session of our flagship campaign, Neon Night City Lights, a Cyberpunk Red actual play live stream. It's gonna be so intense.
Hey Tate, how's that map coming?
Yeah, Tate, how's those maps going?
I finished it before stream, actually.
You hear that? Maps are done. That's how hype it is. Maps are done, all right? Maps are done. It's a done.
We're a
A
professional
whole
organization.
day ahead of time.
Exactly.
It's nuts.
Point being, tomorrow, 2 p.m., four of us will be there of the 6 of us who are currently here. The other 2 of us who aren't there will be in chat because they don't want to miss it. Hang out with them in chat and have a good time as we fucking...
Yeah.
We already committed them. They got voluntold. This is what happened.
That's literally me letting you guys know you gotta
I'm always in chat. What
That's
you
true.
talking about?
We already
Regardless,
volunteered them as tribute.
regardless of me
I see
giving them
all.
ultimatums, it's gonna be intense. Almost a full year's worth of campaign is coming to a close.
Yeah.
We've been telling a grand
It's only the
story.
campaign that we named the channel after, you know,
Yeah,
no big
so-
deal.
So if that gives you a sense of how fucking intense it's gonna be there or be square is all I'm gonna say. So yeah,
Only
Very
hint.
true.
Only preview. Fox is the character Fox and the player Foxxii is basically gonna have a social debate kind of contest that has actual fucking consequences if he gets it wrong, like really bloody terrible ones.
I'ma die.
Look forward to that.
So yeah, that's all we got as far as that goes. As far as the raid situations goes, no one on my list is live. Anybody raid targets we thinking about?
Let me see what.
No, my people got offline.
Yeah.
No one for
On social
me.
media, don't ask me.
Solid.
I got nobody.
Would you refresh real fast? Because Twitch be like that sometimes.
Is anyone
Uh,
popular live that we can try and clout chase with?
Please no. Let's go over to Hard Knock Dice.
Fuck yeah.
I
Why
like them
not?
a lot.
Sounds like a good idea.
I love them. They're hanging out, playing some D&D. So go leave our D&D to go hang out with their D&D. And thanks for hanging out with us for our D&D. And come back in 2 weeks for more D&D.
Absolutely.
Or whatever amalgamation of a game we're playing. So we haven't been following the rules of D&D
Yep.
in a very long time. Whatever the case.
It's not quite a
Whatever we
bad
decide
dragon
to
game,
do.
so
That's true. Whatever the case, I've been Foxxii. These have been my players. This has been the Seven Sons. And you all have been wonderful. Take care of yourselves and each other. And as always, have a wonderful evening. Goodbye!
Unless it's not evening where you live.
Shut up.